November 9th, 2021. Today is the day. Write it down on your calendar. Mark it. Today's the day you will remember for the rest of your life. It is the start of the greatest college basketball season in the history of college basketball. Mark my words. I'm not saying from a betting perspective. I'm not saying I'm going to have my best college basketball season I ever had. I'm not saying any of those things. What I'm saying is this is, on paper, the greatest college basketball season in the history of college basketball. This will be the season that will be remembered as the year the seniors were allowed to play another year. The guys who really love the game, right? The guys who aren't going to play in the NBA. The guys who really wanted to play for some of those mid-major teams. They all got to come back. This was the year that they let that happen, a fifth year. I mean, most guys dream about that. It's happening this year. This year that Coach K is retiring. Love him, hate him, anything like that. Guy's been amazing for the sport. This is the year that every region of the country has a contender. Every region has a team. It's not like, oh, the West stinks this year and the East is terrible or any of those things. No, every region of the country has a team that can seriously take home the crown this year. You look out west, Gonzaga and UCLA. You know, you look east, Villanova. You look south, Auburn, Alabama, both loaded. Kentucky's back this year. Maryland's stacked. You know, the Big Ten. Ohio State, of course, went out in the first round last year. And they're, probably loaded, looking, ready to hunt bear. This is going to be, mark my words, the greatest college basketball season in the history of college basketball. This will be the year that's remembered before they put the restrictions on the transfer portal. Because we know if anyone's going to abuse a system, it's college basketball coaches. It is the dirtiest of all sports. And, they will put all sorts of restrictions and all sorts of things on this transfer portal. This will probably be the last year of the transfer portal as we know it. There will be a transfer portal, but it won't be like this. This is the year that will be remembered as the greatest year of college basketball. I'm ready to get it started with all of you guys.
Hi, it's Mitch from PickDogs.com.
Oh, for sure. These games have to be high drama.
Here we go again.
I'm going to go big and see what happens.
Welcome, everyone, to the show. Rod has made it. I thought he was on the road today, but he's not on the road. He's back already. But
I haven't even left yet.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the hell happened there. Well, then why the hell are you so late? Anyways, Yeah, I'm excited for college hoops.
Still freezing and frozen a little.
College hoops is the sport that most people I meet that quit betting. This is the sport, that pushes them over the edge. This is the one. This is the sport that brings you to your knees. This is the one that makes people quit betting. This is. It might not be the toughest sport to handicap because I always believe that when you have these giant schedules, there's always holes here. This is the sport that gets you thrown out of the sports books. This is also the sport that will break your heart. This is the one. This is the meaningless three happens in college basketball more in a week than it happens in 5 years in the NBA. It is just an amazing thing that happens. The airballed free throw happens more in college basketball than it does in 20 years in the NBA. And, these things happen in college hoops, and we're going to see it all this season. I just, whoever came up with the idea of letting these seniors come back, brilliant. Let them play another year. It's
right.
Like, these are the guys that love the game. These are the guys that make these upsets happen. It's those guys. Those mid-major. Guys that'll never play at another level. I'm excited to see it, and of course the transfer portal just wide open. We're going to see that in full action all day today. All these transfers coming in and big names. The big names, and I don't know. Brian, you get a chance to really look over some of these college basketball teams? I really dug in yesterday, so
I'm still looking at it. I'm on information overload here. Just all these.
I'm not complaining about the amount of action, but there's so many crappy games to look at. So
yeah, it's definitely a lot of games, but I think, a lot of these games, it's like, for me, it's like, I'm just going to take a pass because I can. But it's like, I think, a lot of these teams are teams that we're going to have to watch and see what the result is here and exactly what they look like on the court because, these are guys that we're going to, college basketball isn't necessarily about winning this game. It's about, you find that the few teams that you can latch onto, and they will bring you home, bring it home time after time again. We see it all the time. We see it every year, these guys. But, yeah, this is going to be
lots of action.
Belmont is full of players back from last year. Of course, they lost to Morehead State in their conference tournament last year. Did not go to the big dance. It was Morehead. Yeah, but, it's funny. Like, we look at things. Last year, Chris Holman, Ohio State, it was the first year in his history of being a head coach at Butler, Ohio State, that he ever lost in the first round of the NCAA tournament. First time it ever happened to him. And I guess he really took it hard, is from what I've heard. He really took it hard. So it'll be interesting to see what he bounces back with. He's got 9 returning guys. 9, they're loaded. There's a lot of these loaded rosters out there. Personally, I like Maryland in the Big Ten, but that's just me. It's early, but they're my pick to win the Big Ten. But throw it out.
I think everybody's humping Belmont today, but we'll see. Like the Bobcats.
I mean, Nevada's stacked. I mean, they're stacked. I just think Maryland, to me, is one of the more interesting teams out there.
Well, they are a Big Ten team, so I can see where you're coming from.
Well, it's not just it has nothing to do with the crappy conference and the lack of competition that they'll face during the regular season in the soft.
It's the best conference by far.
The soft players like having to play against
ACC,
the pretenders like Michigan, the joke punchline. No, they can't because they're soft. Yeah, okay. Then Maryland's stacked. Maryland is probably. I think the teams that have the chance, like if I'm looking at my Final Four right now, okay, these are my Final Four today, and I don't know if this will be the Final Four or not. Maryland, either Auburn or Alabama, Kentucky, and Gonzaga. Those are the Final Four. Those teams are stacked. I think 2 from the SEC go this year. I think 2 of those 3. Because Auburn, Alabama, Kentucky are just stacked. I mean, they're just loaded. This is the best Alabama team they've ever had. And it's like, if they don't go to the Sweet 16 or Elite 8 or Final Four, it's a disaster. Bruce Pearl at Auburn got his guy. We know when he gets his guy, they're good. He got his guy. He's in. He's qualified for the first game of the season. When's the last time that's happened? Plus, of course, no one works the transfer portal like this guy. I mean, you don't get rung up from, the Tennessee job. Bruce Pearl? You don't get rung. What, Kent? All right, you're on the Kansas bandwagon. I love Michigan State in that one tonight, but that's a side thing. Love Michigan State. I think that one's easy money. Remy Martin is just he's not a team player, and we saw that last year at Arizona State. He's a ball hog. Number 1, he's a ball hog, and number 2, he doesn't play defense. So a ball hog that doesn't play defense is just a bad combination and will permeate through the entire system of the team. So what are you saying? You can't hear Brian? No sound on Rod. No sound on Brian. So these are the soundboard problems I had yesterday. No, it's my soundboard from yesterday, the problems that I had, more than likely. So let's see.
Oh.
But I don't want you guys to sound double sound. That's what I'm worried about. All right, try now.
Yeah, we don't want him to be accurate.
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Testing.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
It's weird because
It's right.
Easy as one.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Because I didn't change. There, you're back now. Okay, I see it.
Drake sucks.
I think we're good.
Yeah, we're good.
I think we're
All
good.
right. Anyways, they didn't have anything important to say, so don't worry about it. Anyways,
I said I like Purdue as the best team in the Big Ten. That's true. That's what I said.
I say I like
Purdue.
Maryland.
I like that. Purdue's pretty good. Big Ten.
Boilermakers. They gave me a good feeling from football, so I'm gonna carry it over.
You like them this week against Ohio State plus 20.5?
I haven't. I've been busy with college I haven't looked at college football on
I'm
Saturday.
too busy for college football. Anyways, let's get into the NBA. Just 3 games tonight. Let's go through these quickly. We got the Philadelphia 76ers back in action against the Milwaukee Bucks. We got the Jazz against the Hawks. The Hawks played last night also. Not even sure if you call that playing, what they did. It was. Let's see how many points we could let Steph score. It's like, wow, is he good? It was kind of like Steph Curry appreciation night for the Atlanta Hawks. And then you got the Clippers up against the Trail Blazers. Brian, any of these 3?
I don't want to roof low this 3 games, so I'll take something. I'll lean towards the Portland Trail Blazers plus the points. This team generally plays within the number, and I see it being a tight game against the Clippers. I don't think Blazers could pull this one out, but I think you take the points here for safety. I think it's a 1 bucket game.
Rod, anything in the NBA tonight?
And for me in these ones, I'll take the Jazz here. I think they get an easy double-digit win over the Hawks here. Hawks are still 0-7 on the road against the number. I think they get blown out again on the back-to-back here. Bad spot for them. Jazz take advantage and blow them out. I mean, lay the points. Not even lay that up to -9.5.
How about you, Joe?
Yeah, I'm with Rod on this one. Even if the Jazz were favored by double digits, I'd still take them in this against this Hawks team. I don't think this Hawks team will even keep it tight tonight. And then I'm leaning on the Clippers. I think the Clippers get a nice win at home in this one. I just think they're due for a better game, and especially at home here, I think this 3 points is a gift. So Clippers minus the points.
I like the Bucks. I think the Sixers are just known for mailing it in, and it's like this is a game where they're gonna mail it in. It's like they're even talking to Ben Simmons again. It's like this just bad, you know. It's like he goes anywhere near that team, it's just it's just a bad stench. So I'm gonna go with the Bucks here. I think the Sixers just mail it in.
That line's a little scary.
Yep, the Sharps are gonna get pasted on that thing. Absolutely pasted. Anyways, what do you got for sale today, Brian?
Well, 1-1 yesterday, so a kiss your sister type of day. So I'm going to try to
Less the juice.
rebound. Yeah, lost some juice. But overall, 15-6 runs, 71%. Going to try to keep my NBA win streak going. 8 straight NBA winners. I got my 3-pack today for $40. My super sharp 5-pack at pickdogs.com for $50. Make sure you check it out, or join the VIP and get one of those 5 for free.
Right.
Now for me, I had a nice winning day yesterday. Guaranteed that package, and it was a winner. So gonna do the same thing to that Top Shelf Tuesday 5-pack. My 5 best bets will include my NBA total of the month, my NHL 10-star cross-check play of the day, NHL roof job, along with 2 college basketball slam dunks. 5 best bets. Top Shelf Tuesday. Guaranteed a winner package. Jump on over, $40. Get all 5.
Joe?
I have 3 plays out today, you guys. I have 2 in the NHL and 1 in college football. So head on over to Pick Dogs. They will be up right after the show. Got 1 college up right now.
Awesome. Well, we got college football. We got 3 games tonight, all in Maction. It's been very doggy, the Maction so far. We'll see what happens. We got 3 tonight and 3 tomorrow. We got Buffalo against Miami of Ohio, Eastern Michigan against Ohio, and Western Michigan against Akron. Rod, any of these 3 you're looking at?
Well, for me, I lean to Buffalo here. I think that's too many points. I think Buffalo comes in and makes us a closer game. Miami, Ohio at home. They're 1-2 against the number. I know Buffalo's only 1-3 in the number, but I think that's too many points. And what's an easy touchdown game? So give me Buffalo plus the points in that one. And I like the over in Eastern Michigan and Ohio. It's a 60.5, hasn't budged. So I think we get over the total. I think we get a whole pile of points in that one. Give me the over. The two I lean in those ones in the action.
How about you, Joe?
Give me Eastern Michigan minus the points tonight. I think they have a big game against Ohio. We're looking at a team that's just far better offensively, scoring 34.9 points on average per game. Solid defense as well. It's still allowing a lot of points, but not compared to what we're seeing out of Ohio, allowing 31.3. I think this is a big game for them. They get a nice win and cover at home.
How about you, Brian?
I'll tell you what, I like all three of these MAC games. I could have a lot of MAC action, big plays, but as far as free picks go, I'm going to go with Western Michigan against my Zips. Zips are just 8-19 against the spread in conference play. They're 4-9 the last 13 on the road against the spread. And Western Michigan's covered 4 of the last 5. Give me Western Michigan, lay that big number. I think they cream the Zips.
On the Zips in this one against Western. Too many points. Western's just so sloppy. I could see them just slop fest again. Backdoor. Just leaves it wide open. Probably lose outright. Take Akron in this one.
They're not going to lose outright. You're crazy.
Whatever. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. We go to the NHL. See how come Brian's not picking on me? He's picking on me.
But Akron, come on. Akron's not going to beat
on
Western
me.
Michigan. Come
He's a
on.
bully. He's a bully. He's bullying me.
Like I beat him by 50.
He's a
That's
bully.
what's going to happen.
Brian's a bully. He's picking Western. That's what they say to me. You're a bully. You picked Pittsburgh. You bully. All right. Anyways, we go to the NHL. Took Western. Got the Bruins against the Senators, Canadians against the Kings, Tampa Bay against Carolina, Devils against the Panthers, and the Red Wings against the Oilers. Joe, any of these 5?
Yeah, I like the under in the Kings and Canadians. I think we see a lower scoring game as both these defenses step up. We have seen the Kings score a lot of points as of late, but they're coming in off a great win last night where they racked up the points. I don't see them doing it again today. I see a lower scoring one in this one. So take the under 5.5.
I feel like I left money on the table taking that puck line on the Kings. That's for sure. But
Me too.
Mitchie Puck's another casher, though. Rod? These 5?
For me, Kings have been just rolling along. Why not take him again? They can beat the Leafs yesterday. Nice win there. And, I think they come in here and beat Montreal. So give me the Kings again. You get a nice win there. As I said in the video, I think the Boston Bruins team total over. I think they easily get enough goals on Ottawa to get that over. I was just trying to look it up to see what it was before you after in the next segment. And the other one, I like Tampa. Give me the Lightning here. Carolina lost their first game, and I think they lose their second game. And I think the Lightning get themselves a win here over the Hurricanes. I'm still not sold on these on the Hurricanes goalie. Ranta got creamed in the crease on the weekend. He was in concussion protocols. Who knows how he is? Freddie Anderson got rocked for 5 goals. He had no choice but to come back in after that. So we'll see how he bounces back after that. I think he gets another loss. Give me the Lightning over the Hurricane in that one.
Brian?
Yeah, I agree with Rod with the Tampa Bay Lightning. I think they get it done at home on the money line, but where I disagree, I think Montreal Canadiens laying the juice is just, to me, looks too good to be true, getting plus money with the Kings. Canadiens off 2 games at home. They're 3-10 on the year. I'll lay the juice here of Montreal. It just seems like they're begging you to take the Kings.
I like the Red Wings. I like them on the regular and the puck line. So I'm going to double down on the Red Wings in this one against Edmonton. The puck line's too easy to pass up. That's for sure. The puck line will be the Mitchie Pucks play. The money line's just for extra money. Just for pocket change. For the beer nuts. Got the JETS Jets against the Blues. Got Blackhawks against Pittsburgh. Calgary against San Jose. Vancouver against the Ducks. Love those Ducks. And Vegas against the Kraken. Brian, what's Kraken?
Yeah, I think out of all that grouping, I'm going to take the Chicago Blackhawks. The line seems really, really light for the Pittsburgh Penguins. The Blackhawks, I think they're much better than that very terrible record would indicate. And I'm going to take the Blackhawks at home to get an upset over the Penguins.
Joe, I'm going against your Flames here. I like the Sharks here on the puck line at the very least. But
yeah, I would too. I think you're deadly correct on that one. I think the Flames really struggle playing at home as well. I don't think they'll get the win tonight. I also like the Jets. Give me the home team in this one. I think these two teams are so evenly matched. The Jets at home will get this win. Yeah, I like it. And I like the over in that one as well. I think both these teams.
Do you do the Jets chant like when you watch the game sometimes, like you're just watching on TV and just all of a sudden, like just like in the middle of your living room, like, even if no one's there, you just kind of just get up and do the Jets, Jets.
No, but now every time I say Jets or hear Jets, I think of that because you guys have done that to me, but I do not cheer for the Jets, even when my money's on them. I have a hard time cheering for them.
You gotta go to a Jets game and experience.
Don't forget the other chant, JAGS, Jags. That's the other one. Go Jags.
That's not the that's not the Jags chant. The Jags chant is Duval. Everyone knows that.
No, Jags.
No, it's not. It's Duval. Everyone knows it. Duval. It's the Jags chant. Everyone knows that. Stop making things up.
Yeah, I know some great games though in this time slot.
So it is a nice. It is a nice slot.
I think Vegas is in for another big game tonight against the Seattle Kraken that cannot win on the road to save their lives right now.
Brian, what do you think of this slot?
Like I said, I only had one play in the slot, but I think the Kraken might. That's just another line that seems. Lines in hockey today seem there's some too good to be true ones out there. I think I might have missed the boat on hockey premiums.
Rod, how about you in this slot?
In this slot, for me, I like the over in the Pittsburgh Penguins Blackhawks game. Both offenses been putting the puck in the net, and I think that continues here. Give me the over in that one. And the other one I like, give me the Blues. And I don't trust the Jets with all those guys out. Hellebuck will be out for this game. You have Comrie in goal again, making his second start. No Wheelers, no Stastny, no Scheifele. There's just too many guys out for the Jets for me. Give me the Blues. We're playing the better hockey. You can look, some of those guys might play, but they're definitely not going to be at 100%. Too many guys out for the Jets. Give me the Blues.
Sharks and Ducks puck line for both those for me. Parlay them up and possibly sprinkle in a little Penguins puck line on that as well. Birdcage. Anyways, it's time we go to the college hardwood. Like I said, I think this will be the greatest college basketball season in the history of college basketball. I do believe that there'll be adjustments to the transfer portal after this season. We've already seen just flat out abuse of it. So, I mean, you give these college coaches a crease, they're going to abuse the crap out of whatever is good for everybody else and ruin it. And they've already done that with the transfer portal. So you'll see that probably changed. I don't think you'll see seniors being able to stay for another season, after this year. I don't think, I think there'll be big changes. I think the NBA will probably allow high school players back in too. I think all those things are going to happen. It's going to change college basketball. Of course, this is it for Coach K. But let's get it tipped off here. We've got the early games. These are the pre-7 o'clock games. Before 7 o'clock tonight, just randomly go down the list here. Of course, if I skip something, you have a pick in one of these. Well, of course, you're free to hit it, but I don't want to take up the entire show doing this, just reading off the games. But Villanova, Loyola Marymount, Cal versus San Diego. They're not the Toreros anymore. They're now the Tritons. They've changed their name.
I like it. The
Tritons. No longer the Toreros, which who in the hell knew what that was? The Tritons. Remember the Tritons. We're going to blitz on every play. They cross the line. I'm taking every single one out. They're going to remember the day they played the Tritons.
The Tritons is a weapon that
I know. We know what it is.
Yeah.
This isn't Jeopardy. This is college basketball. Eastern Michigan's playing Indiana. New head coach in Indiana. Rung up Archie Miller in a hurry. Yeah, all those Indiana bashers on my YouTube channel last year. Suck it. VCU versus St. Peter's. Ohio State against Akron. Chris Holman back on the court after that tearful exit last year from the NCAA tournament. Whew, got ugly. Or he got Oral Roberts. UConn taking on Central Connecticut State. Radford against Emory and Henry. Who even knew there was a team? Butler against Iwapui. Brian, any of these early games do anything for you? Right
No, there's a couple that wet my whistle. I'm going to go with the Tritons here, plus the points against the armpit of the Pac-12, Cal. Wouldn't shock me if the Tritons had an upset victory here, but I think 14 is more than enough to get you cover.
Do you think Matt Bradley? You think Matt Bradley leaving Cal to go to San Diego State? Do you think like that's addition by subtraction? Because to me, he's a ball hog that won't play defense. Also,
sometimes you get additions by subtraction. Just look at Ben Simmons. And then in the other game, this is the game Akron covers tonight. The Zips against their in-state Ohio State big Buckeyes that went out early in the playoff and the tournament.
They go out early. They went out in the first round.
Yeah, give me Akron plus the points here. I think this is a 10-point game.
Rod?
Yeah, that's the one. The Akron I like to give me the Akron plus the points. Well, that's too many there. I agree. The 10-point game in that one. And I'll take St. Peter's plus the points against VCU. I think that's a closer game as well. The two I like in that time slot.
Joe?
Yeah, I'm with you guys on Akron plus the points. When we look at Ohio State last season, their last 5 games at home, they couldn't cover the spread. So I think Akron plus the points is definitely the way to go.
I love Ohio State tonight against Akron, by the way.
Oh, my God.
I love them. And you guys know I'm not.
All 3 of us are on the opposite.
He's on the wrong Zips. Love Ohio State in this one. Coming off of the first round entry, Ohio State is a program. They love to beat up on the bad teams. They're all in all their sports. They do it in football. They do it in basketball, especially at the Value City Center. Especially at home is where they blow them out. Remember what they did to Cincinnati a couple years ago in that opener? And that was a good Cincinnati team. This Akron team lost their best player. That guy was like 50% of all their scoring from last year. He's one of the players that did not come back. And I think Akron is going to be taking a big step back. I thought the Zips took a little step forward last year when they, the Zips were always a tournament team. They were always the representative for the MAC for many, many years. And then the last, 6 years, they no longer were in that spot. And then last year, they kind of took that step forward. But then at the end of the season, when they really needed to get it done, they didn't get it done. And then they lost in overtime in the MAC tournament. But the thing is they lost their best player, and a team like Akron can't afford to lose their best player because Ohio State's 9 deep. They're freaking loaded, this Ohio State team. This team is way better than the Ohio State team that they had last year. Way better. This team's stacked. You're going to see 20, 30-point win here for the Buckeyes. No problemo. No problem in that one. I also like Eastern Michigan and Indiana. I don't like NBA coaches going to the college level. Doesn't work. It's never worked, right? It never worked. You see college coaches go to the NBA and then come back to college, but you don't see straight NBA guys come to the college game and have success. It just doesn't happen. It's a different game. Got to be able to work the living room. I like Eastern Michigan in that one. It's mostly just to piss off the Indiana fans, who love to take pot shots at me. Them and the Arkansas fans. They just love me. Richmond, North Carolina Central. Spiders are in action. The Albany Great Danes, a Brian Bittler favorite, playing against Towson. Dayton against the Flames. Davidson against Delaware, the Blue Hens. George Mason, Stony Brook. Arizona State against Portland. We don't have Terry Porter to push around anymore. He's gone from Portland. He had a good run. What do you think the average margin of defeat was at Portland with Terry Porter as head coach, Rod? What do you think? How many points do you think it was? The average margin that they lost by with Terry Porter coaching there?
20 plus.
60? I was going to say 60. It just seemed like every game was 97 to 54. And it was the worst part was, it was he should have been fired before last season. And it was they made him sit through having to watch what we had to watch. Last year. It's no, we're not even going to give you the dignity of firing you. We're going to make you sit on that bench and watch the crap that you put out on the court one more time. It was so bad, man. They just stink. Purdue against Bellarmine. Again, I think we're going to have a butting of the heads here. Rod's a big Bellarmine guy. Purdue ranks 7th in the country. Always a little overrated, the Boilers. Georgia Southern against Ball State. Maction against the Sun Belt. Valpo and Toledo. Siena against St. Bonnie's. This could be a beast of a St. Bonnie's team this season. This is a very, very good St. Bonnie's team this year. Duquesne against Ryder. Ryder's on the Storm. Got Maryland against Quinnipiac. I'm normally a Quinnipiac type guy. This Maryland team is loaded. They're freaking loaded. Final Four loaded. They are really good. Iona against App State. Charlotte against Monmouth. The Hawks are in action, Brian. Excited about that one? Got Providence against Fairfield. Stags. Syracuse against Lafayette in a Syracuse getting the season started with a nice 6-digit rotation number game. It's I'm sorry we can't do that. We're going to have at least 6 rotation numbers in the rotation. Pitt against Citadel. Citadel, what we've seen from them, I didn't do a lot of research on Citadel this year, but you have to remember, this is a team that can score a ton, and they play no defense whatsoever. They give up 1 million points a game. North Carolina against Loyola Maryland. Pitt actually got a massive transfer from Oakland, I believe it was. I think it was Oladipo, right? From Oakland, went to Pitt.
I think so.
Yeah, I think it was Oladipo, went from Oakland to Pitt. So that's the transfer portal at work. Clemson against 1-ho, 2-ho, red-ho, blue-ho, Presbyterian. UNC Greensboro against North Carolina A&T. Belmont against Ohio. Oregon, Texas Southern. Gotta love the Ducks. West Virginia, Oakland. Oh, man, Bob Huggins hit the transfer portal hard. He hit it real hard after last year's defensive fiasco. And, of course, Kansas, Michigan State, South Carolina Upstate, Georgia, FIU, Cincinnati, Evansville. We got a lot of 7 o'clockers. Let's just stop there. We'll stop at Kansas. Kansas.
Can you read them over again? I forgot.
Anything in the 7 o'clock time slot.
I don't have a clue. Whose turn is it first?
Whoever wants to go.
Oh, I'll go first. I like get it over with. I'll take Florida International University plus the points. Florida, great recruiting pool down in Florida.
Who are they playing?
Georgia, maybe the crappiest team in the SEC. I guess
they lost a lot of players in the portal. Georgia.
I think Florida International can keep it within 5, 6. This is just a lean on Florida International. And then Delaware, my Blue Hens against the Davidson team that normally during the season I like to back Davidson, but here I think the Blue Hens can keep it within 4 or 5 points here.
Davidson lost their best shooting guard, transferred to Kentucky.
Blue Hens here, the better of the two picks.
Yeah, Georgia had that mass exodus. I didn't really look at that game, but I could see all the players that landed on other teams from Georgia. So I can only imagine what they look like now. Probably just a shell. Rod, what are you looking at?
For me, I think St. Bon's going to be good, but I think that's too many points. I think Siena keeps it closer than the 19 points there. Just too many. St. Bon's going to take a little bit to gel and get things to roll, and that's just too many points. We Siena plus the points in that one. And I normally like Bellarmine, but Purdue is stacked. I'll lay the points with Purdue. I think they run right over Bellarmine in that one. Lay the 22. Purdue has no problem covering that. They win by 30 plus. They're that good.
Boiler up, baby.
I think get ready for a big-time boiler disappointment year again.
Please. You're just salty about the other Boilermakers.
I'm really not. I don't care. I've won on Purdue just as much as
I'm just messing with
I've won plenty on Purdue over the years, but Purdue has come up short every single time. They've had much better teams than this. If you have a coach that can't get you over the top, is what you have there. You got problems. Anyways, Joe, what do you like in this slot?
Yeah, I'm liking the under in the Ball State Georgia Southern game. And because I like the under, I also like Ball State plus the points. I really do think this is going to be one where it's going to be low scoring. Both these teams trended to the under last year. And I think what we saw out of Ball State last year, the better team coming into this. So I'm going to take Ball State plus the points and the under in that one.
I like Michigan State. Straight money in this one. Once again, same story, different year. Once again, they don't have all the All-Americans that everybody has. They don't have all these other guys. They got a coach that can seriously knows what he's doing. This is what he does. He just works on rebounding, free throw shooting, just the basics. Passing the basketball. I'm telling you, man, they go places. Last year, Michigan State was hideous. Okay, let's call it what it is. Okay, they were hideous last year. They go to the NCAA tournament. They go to the play-in. They have to play in the play-in game, right? They lose in the play-in game. They lose by 4 points, right? So same amount that they're getting tonight against Kansas, who did nothing, right? Again in the NCAA tournament, just fell flat on their face again. But they lose by 4 points in the NCAA tournament with nothing. This is how good of a coach this guy is, right? The team that beats him goes to the Final Four, comes within a shot of going all the way. It's like, I think that this game's going to be super tight. And I think we're going to be very happy to have those points in our back pocket. This guy he's going to keep you in it. He's going to keep you in it. He always does. And I don't see in a big game like this how he doesn't. On a big stage, big game, that's what it's all about in Michigan State. Tough to go against Tom Izzo in that spot. Because Self is a choker, right? He always chokes. They've had stacked team after stacked team after stacked team. Did nothing with it. Aside from that, I think they have a pretty nice squad. Kansas. I think the West Virginia.
Rock the charge with the Jayhawks.
I think West Virginia against Oakland is an interesting one too. Last year, Oakland had 10 freshmen on that team. Remember, what they did was like they had a players only meeting, and they said, "Well, if you keep the coach, then we're all gonna leave." So they re-signed the coach to an extension, and the entire team hit the transfer portal. So they had to start over again. Wow. So they had 10 freshmen last year. So you think, right, that they're gonna have all these guys that come back this year. But the problem is their six top players all hit the transfer portal again. Like I just said, Old Depot went to Pittsburgh. So they have some problems there. And then West Virginia was terrible on defense last year, which is weird for a Bob Huggins team who's normally suffocating on defense. So he went out and hit the transfer portal, and he brought in some horses. I mean, some serious shot blockers in the middle. I think Oakland's going to have a real tough time scoring points in this one. I think West Virginia and probably the under. I just think this is one of those games where they're just going to wear them down. I think Oakland might come out and do it, but remember last year, Oakland, their first game last year? Rod, do you remember that game? Normally you remember these things. Remember Oakland's first game last year? No, don't look it up. Do you remember it or not?
No.
They lost to Xavier by 600 points.
I don't know.
Don't look it up.
I remember it because they lost to Xavier by about 600. I think it was 159-3.
Yeah, they got spanked.
They got spanked beyond spanked. I can't. It's like those type of beatings I remember. You know, I think it was one of the largest wins in Xavier program history. I think it was bigger than when they played. Oh God, what's the name of that school? I can't remember the name of it. Brian would know. It was against my old business partner. It was their largest margin of victory ever in school history, but I believe Oakland finally eclipsed that. Stood for a record that stood for quite some time. It's one of those games where they do the opening tip-off, the guy runs down the court with the ball, slams it home, and the crowd starts yelling, "Start up the bus." Love those games. Those are my favorite. Start up the bus. Yeah, there's some good games in here. Maryland. So Maryland, besides being loaded with guys that returned, they also hit the transfer portal extremely hard. And the guy that they got was Fats Russell, was one of the guys that they got from Rhode Island. Remember the guy from Rhode Island last year? He scored 1,600 points at Rhode Island. And that's not an exaggeration. That's not a Mitch number or whatever. That is the number. Yep. He scored 1,600 points at Rhode Island. This guy can flat out score. You have this guy, and he's not forced to carry the load there. You know, he's just another guy on the team. Well, this is, that's how good they are. They're loaded. Turgeon did a really nice job. They're gonna be a Final Four contender for sure. Purdue has no chance against them. Mail it in. Brian's got his blue ribbon yearbook out. He's finally.
I think you're leaving. I'm looking up Georgia Tech stuff.
Georgia Tech.
Yeah, I like Miami, Ohio in the next time slot. I was just checking something.
All right, we'll go to the 7:30 slot then. That's where you want to be. Got Miami of Ohio against Georgia Tech. Canisius against Miami. Miami had some key transfers, including Earl Timberlake. Heading on out.
Could have outright upset there, maybe.
Heading out. Yeah, Jim Larinaga is known for losing to Canisius. Ole Miss against New Orleans. Ooh, Incarnate Word Up against Texas State. Haven't used that one in a while. Too bad though.
In a while, right?
Yeah, you don't get.
Are they the
Incarnate
Cardinals?
Word? You just don't see them in any other sports. But it's like that Incarnate Word Up. Just rolls right off your tongue. It's like it was like yesterday, right? It's like this stuff. These are our guys. I love college hoops because all the names, like Purdue, Fort Wayne, the Mastodons, they're taking on Earlham. I mean, there's no line in this thing, but Earlham. They just make teams up, It's like Earlham's playing. Who are we playing? Who? Earlham. Who? Doesn't sound real. It's like William Peace is playing Campbell, the Camels. William Peace. Peace out. William Peace out. UAB in Asheville. Cornell against Binghamton. Ooh, that's a battle of upstate New York teams. It's going to be chilly. St. John's against Mississippi Valley State. Oh, man, how did I miss that one? Oh, my God. I tell you who's on that one is Romanelli. I Romanelli will be on our show, our college football show later on today. We'll have to ask him about this one. He loves that conference. Mississippi Valley State getting 43.5 here at St. John's. They're so bad. It's like I could lay the 43.5 in that one. It's like I would seriously consider it.
No.
Oh yeah, they're so bad. They're so bad. Mississippi Valley State. Let's look at some of their scores from last year. They are so bad. They're rancid, man. So they lost. In their conference tournament. They actually showed up. They covered. No, they didn't cover. They didn't cover. They were getting 25.5 in that one. They lost 91-64 against Prairie View A&M. They lost to Arkansas Pine Bluff 82-59. So actually they had some fairly competitive games. Like they lost to Texas Southern 82-45. So they were in that one. 93-58 against Alabama A&M. 85-72 against Grambling. They were getting 25 in that one.
I like a good crappy team.
Yeah, well, these guys might be a little. These guys are a little too old and crappy for you. These guys are real bad. Mississippi Valley State, generally the worst team in the country.
That's a lot of points.
Yeah, I know. That's what. UMBC is at UMass, the Retrievers. These are the guys that beat Virginia in the first round of the NCAA tournament 3 years ago. Xavier against Niagara. Pepperdine against Rice. Oh, we're past the 7:30 time slot. So anything between 7:30 and 8 o'clock. Rod, you want to give it a shot? Bowling Green action for you against Western?
No.
Just throwing
it.
I
like Xavier. Give me Xavier over Niagara. Xavier's a better team. They come in and roll right over the purple people eater thingies. Purple something. Purple hat. It's the Niagara purple something.
I gave Rod the Applebee's treatment there. He sat down. He didn't even sit down to open his menu. Marty suggested appetizers for him. It's like, can I start you with some mozzarella sticks and some beef tips? It's like, well, don't eat red meat and I'm lactose intolerant, so probably not a good selection for me. No, I'm just kidding. Like you go to those places and it's like you haven't even opened the menu, they're already suggesting. It's like, I didn't ask for suggestions, but it's like, how would I start you off with clam boat? It's like, what? What are you talking about? I always look at him like, what? They always start with, right?
Those ones always scare me. It's like, why are you trying to push this on me all the way? Can I have a drink first?
Because there's people like me that is just like, yeah, I'd love that. That's why they do it.
Can I start you with a sushi boat for the table?
Anytime I get suggested something, I always say yes. So that is exactly why they do it, you guys. It's all my fault.
Can I start you guys off with? Can I start you guys off with? I don't know, a side of waffles for the table.
There's time I don't even know what I've agreed to. I've just been like, okay, sure. Let's do that.
Can I start you guys off with? Rod, what else you got in the slot? Anything?
In this slot. Where there's so many games. Overload.
It's too many games.
It is too many games. I admit it's too many games in one day. Today college basketball, they went a little crazy. They did.
I like to tiptoe into the season.
Little. Right? I like to tiptoe into season 2. It's like, here you go.
There really is only listed 70 lined games today.
Only, yeah.
Only 70.
I think I'm going to ride with Ole Miss today over New Orleans.
You're crazy.
Really?
No, I don't know.
I got a feeling. They're going to come out and get the win and cover. I think they're going to have a good game today.
The SEC is really tough this year, so I would imagine Ole Miss is going to be tough too. The SEC is brutal this season.
Well, generally, at the beginning of the season, I like to take tons of points against the better teams. I seem to get lucky and get covers early on. But as far as that grouping goes, I'm going to take Canisius plus the points against Miami. I think Canisius, the Golden Griffins in spots last year, they ended up 19-7-2 against the spread over their last 28 games or so. So they're a cover team. I think that's just a little bit too much against Miami. And Miami, Ohio, I like them. Plus the points. I think they're going to be improved in the MAC conference this year. Georgia Tech, I see this as about 6-7 point win, so 9.5 should get you there. Take Miami, Ohio.
Yeah, this is one of the tougher slots, that 7:30 slot. But so Chicago State is a team that we've bet against a lot in the past, but you don't get a lot of line games with them. So I'm going to go with St. Thomas in Minnesota. I know nothing about these teams, but I know betting against Chicago State is normally a good idea. So I'm going to.
They stunk last year.
Beyond last year, they're like the Washington Generals of opponents. They play everybody.
Yeah, right.
They play everybody. Like their schedules, like Ohio State, North Carolina, Duke. They play everybody, and they get rolled. I mean, they get rolled. I think last year they might not have played.
What time do they play? 8 o'clock? I'm looking for the game.
8 o'clock.
I missed it.
Then they played a couple, and then they withdrew.
Something like
they played a couple games, and then they were like,
"Oh, I'm out of my slot.
Well,
I'm out of my slot."
Anymore.
Is what happened there. I went right over the line. There's so many games.
You went right out of your own slot, Mitch.
Yeah, I'm out of my slot.
It's okay. We forgive you because you're so nice to us when we do.
I don't forgive them.
I'll just kick off the 8 o'clock slot then. I like let's see. I like Jacksonville State against Wichita State. Wichita State is good. They're real good. But Jacksonville State always gets the guys that got into trouble somewhere else. And I like those guys. They normally have guys that have played at all of the big-time schools. The guy that didn't get on the court, at like Kentucky or whatever. And I don't even need to look them up. I know that that's the case. Texas Tech is playing North Florida. Texas Tech, of course, lost their head coach. So they got some issues there this season. But they did get some players in. So I always like when you had a really good head coach and they replace him with the assistant. So you have some continuity. You give this guy a chance. Maybe he did learn something. We'll have to see. Missouri State against Southeast Missouri. We're not going to touch that one. Rod, without his Illinois hat, Kofi Coburn is suspended for 3 games for signing autographs.
Right?
Yep, he signed
the points.
He signed the autographs, and then they passed the rule that players are allowed to sell autographs like a month later, and they still got suspended for 3 games. And one of those games is the Marquette game, which is a big game. And he's first team All-American, right? He's got to be. I'm surprised he didn't go NBA. He's an NBA player.
And also Frazier's probable. Frazier's injured on Illinois too, so I think that's way too many points.
So you're worried against
Jackson State?
Really?
I like Jackson State. Yeah, I like Jackson State. I think Illinois comes out a little slow and sluggish, and they usually win by like 13.
It's Jackson State. I like Florida against Elon because Florida was another team that was sort of a dumpster fire last year. They also lost to Oral Roberts. the list of teams that were embarrassed by Oral Roberts in the NCAA tournament Florida was one of those two. At least they made it past the first round. But Florida had problems also on defense last year, and they hit the transfer portal hard as well. So they should be improved. Also, Keontae Johnson might actually play for them. He's listed as questionable for this game. Romanelli will be on later, and I know he's going to this game. So we'll have to ask him if he knows. If Keontae Johnson is back with Florida this year, they're a top 10 team. If he doesn't play, they're still going to be good. Not as good as they act like they are, but they'll still be good. They always act like they're way better than they are. But if they get Keontae Johnson back, that would be a great story. That would be one of the best stories of the year in all of sports, I believe. It'd kind of be like Alex Smith, right, coming back in football. It would be big. Let's see what else we got. Minnesota, only 7-point favorites here against the Kangaroos of Kansas City. Oak State without Cade Cunningham. They still got players, though. 18-point favorites. Nebraska, why bother? Let's see what else we got. Anything else?
It's the Leathernecks.
Yep, they are against the Leathernecks. Brian, what do you like in this slide? How about the Hogs against Mercer?
In that slot, I'm going to take the Rod's team, the Hofstra Pride here, plus 18.5. 34-16-1 over the last 51 road games as a dog. Hofstra's also, I think, won 5 Tuesday games in a row. I'm going to take Hofstra plus all these points. I think you're getting value here against Houston.
Houston was top 10 team all season last year.
I like Hofstra.
Yeah.
Pride.
I like Hofstra too, but that's going a little crazy. I'll take
I'm not
Houston
crazy.
and lay the big bucket. They just keep loading up, and they'll have solid defense. And yeah, Hofstra's in trouble. They're in deep dog doo-doo in that one.
They were kicking you out of the Hofstra Pride.
What about Maryland East Shore against St. Joseph? You got Hawks on Hawks that are the same color teams.
Uh-oh.
This is bad. You got the same color uniforms. They're both Hawks. St. Joe's, I still think, has the bad mojo. I still think they had the bad mojo. What do you guys, do you think they're past the bad mojo stage? Or do you think, this is a team geographically close to you, Brian, right? So it's like, you know that they have the bad mojo, right, from the whole Phil Martelli firing.
I like the St. Joe's Hawks. But I think the bad mojo's going this year.
You think so?
Yep.
I think when you fire your coach of 27 years or whatever, that's like,
That goes away, There's a
Ouch.
grieving period.
they did finish strong. That 100-66 loss to UMass in their conference tournament last year really did signal that maybe good things were coming this year.
Well, if they would have got a hold of Miami, they would have been able to get a win, but
Well, they lost.
unfortunately.
They did. It was only 34 points. I mean, it's a lot closer than the score. It was a lot closer than the score. I mean, they were getting 5. So, I mean, they were within.
Are you
20,
on Gonzaga,
they were within.
Gonzaga against the Trailblazers?
They were within 29 against. Within the number by 29 against them. So they were close. But actually, they did finish the season strong with 4 wins. LaSalle, Dayton, Richmond, and then LaSalle again. It's kind of the Grateful Dead concert. That's what you get in college hoops. It's like China Ryder playing in the band, back into China Ryder. What else we got? Joe, you like any of these games? 8 o'clock?
What about Morehead State to keep it tight tonight?
0 chance.
You think?
0 chance.
Okay. I was looking at that. I just think there's a little bit too many points because Auburn has had a lot of new players come in.
Yeah,
So.
and they're all NBA players that are paid very well to play for that team.
Okay, so 0 chance tonight.
Bruce Pearl.
Okay, now,
Bruce Pearl.
what do you think about
I don't know.
Gonzaga?
I don't know if they have 0 chance, but I'm just saying
Yeah.
that Auburn has an NBA team this year.
Yeah, that is true. I was just thinking this first game, Morehead with a little bit of momentum coming off a good last season.
They
for
did
them.
have a good season. They made it
They
to
did.
the NCAA tournament. They beat
Yep.
Belmont. They went to the big dance. They weren't bad.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. What now is Gonzaga going to beat this huge 1,000,000-point spread
No.
over Dixie State?
No way.
Yeah, it's just way too
Gonzaga,
many points.
actually, though, this is the best Gonzaga. This could be the best Gonzaga team they've ever had. They got the highest recruit they've ever had at Gonzaga, and they have the player of the year returning, Timmy. So they could be they could do it.
Every public humper in the world is
40
going to be
points.
taking Gonzaga tonight.
So how much do you have on Gonzaga then?
Every Johnny public humper is going to take Gonzaga tonight just because they're Gonzaga.
So how much do you have on them?
I didn't touch that game, honestly. But
How many units you got on the Zags?
I would take the Trailblazers. They've cashed 4 in a row as an underdog. So Dixie State. I don't like Gonzaga. I'm anti-Gonzaga.
I'll lay the points with the Gonzaga. Yeah.
I knew it.
They easily blow Dixie Skate out of the
No
out of
way.
the
No
park,
chance
so.
to cover that kids tonight.
Is that the hat you burnt though,
why
Rob?
they put. Yeah, I got another one though. I bought a new one.
I'll send you a Dixie State hat.
I know. It's not far away.
Do you think Auburn
I
has?
got it.
Do you think Auburn has too many good players?
Maybe.
You
Do you think
that-
they'll have power struggles with that?
Well, it's just what 5 do you put on the court? We saw this at Baylor 2 years ago, but they ended the season. So, like, we never got to see how it would play out. But they kind of had figured it out. And guys left the team and, got into trouble, got arrested. It's college basketball, so this stuff happens. But it's like Baylor had this problem, and Kentucky has had this problem before, where they just have too many good guys. That's why Calipari normally at Kentucky never has teams like he's got now. Normally he's just got 4 or 5 really good guys. Rarely does he have a team that's like just 12 deep. I think he's just mad about last year still, so that's why he figured I'm just gonna load up and not let anyone go anywhere else. They're loaded. I really want to see this Jabari Smith. Can't hear you, Brian.
Morehead State's the call there. They're going to cover.
Auburn stacked. 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 Morehead State's not bad. I struggle with that one. I think there's better places to be. I could make a case for Morehead State. They're a tournament team, but Auburn I think is a Final Four team. I think that's the issue you have here.
Guys are turning me on to some games here.
You don't think Auburn's a Final Four team? They'll whip Purdue's ass.
They're not better than Purdue.
They're loaded. Have you ever
have
have seen the list of Bruce Pearl recruiting violations?
Sure, it's quite long.
Yeah. I mean, every year. Remember last year, Sharif Cooper? It took him how many games to finally get him in the door?
I think Memphis is better than Auburn.
No chance.
Well, we'll see.
How many games was it? Sharif Cooper got to play finally like the last 6 games of the season or something. Is that what happened?
I'm looking forward to like a
it was
Memphis
something
Houston
like
game.
that.
Those two have a good game.
Of course, when Bruce Pearl was at Tennessee, he had there was a picture of him and Aaron Kraft in his living room.
Well, you're an SEC, ACC guy. I'm not. I'm a Big Ten AAC guy.
What?
I like the American Athletic Conference, and I like Big Ten.
I just heard you were an athletic supporter.
I like the AAC, and the Big East. I like the Big East too.
Okay, where are we at? All right, I could see the case for Morehead State. I know they were good last year, but they don't have the same guys back. They don't have the same team back. Auburn is loaded. How about Texas abusing the transfer portal? I think their entire team is transfers.
Wow.
Playing against Houston Baptist. Chris Beard, the new coach at Texas from Texas Tech. Did a great job at Texas Tech. They made it to the finals. Got cheap called in the final. Would have been the champions, I believe. That was double cheap called, didn't he, Rod? That one? It was like 2 horrific calls
so.
that went against them in
Double cheap,
overtime, right? Horrific calls.
Yep.
That went against them in overtime, and they lost the game. Oh, Southern's playing against Louisville, Brian.
Missed that one.
That's La Tech against Alabama. La Tech's not bad, but once again, Alabama, Final Four bust. I think this is one of those places also. I think Alabama, the fans in the stands, you got to remember, there hasn't been fans in the stands for a year. So these guys have been chomping at the bit to get back into the stands too. So places like Auburn and Alabama where it's just tough buildings to begin with. Coleman's one of the toughest. So I imagine that place is going to be exploding tonight because it's Final Four bust for this Alabama team. If they don't go to the Final Four, it's going to be a disappointing year for them.
I thought you had Auburn in the Final Four.
I think both can go.
Oh, come on.
It could be Auburn, Kentucky, and Bama in the Final Four.
You're dreaming.
They all could go. They all could go.
Maybe 3 Big Ten teams, but not.
I think all 3 of those teams have a shot at the Final Four. All those 3 teams have a legitimate shot at the Final Four. Auburn, Alabama, Kentucky. They're all due. Those teams.
I can see Kentucky.
Those teams are stacked. Alabama is probably the pick, right, to win the SEC. They have to be.
I like Kentucky.
Alabama has to be favored, though. They have to be favored, right? I don't know what the odds are. Wonder if we have it at Sports Chat. Odds to win.
We should.
We're all over this stuff. All right, we do have it. Betting. Oh, it doesn't have the odds to win.
I got it right. Kentucky's the favorite to win the SEC.
And then Alabama.
Alabama's number 2, and then
Auburn.
Tennessee.
Tennessee, yeah. Good.
Yeah. Auburn's, after that.
Oh, I see. The reason why it didn't have the odds is because I was looking at the wrong year. All right. Anyways. Alabama versus La Tech. Boise versus Utah Valley. Gonzaga versus Dixie State. Navy against Virginia. UC Irvine against New Mexico State. That could be a war. South Dakota State Jackrabbits taking on Bradley. Brian's a big Bradley guy.
The Bradley Braves.
USC against Cal State Northridge. It all comes up. All the memories surface. Utah State against Davis. A game that I think is really flying under the radar that could be one of the games of the night. Colorado State against Oral Roberts. Max Abmas back at Oral Roberts, and they're getting a dozen at Colorado State. Was 12.5. Love Oral Roberts in that game.
Oh, no, I think you go Colorado State. Although I like Oral Roberts.
Duke, Kentucky. Who do you like in this time slot, Brian?
I'm like a kid in the candy store, but I'm just going to stick with my pick I gave out a little bit. I'm going to fade Gonzaga tonight with Dixie State. And let me see, is there anything else in there? I'm kind of tempted, like you just mentioned, on Oral Roberts. That seems like a whole boatload of points against Colorado State. But for me, it's Dixie State.
It's one of those things where they just return, a million players.
There's so many things look good to me.
Colorado State, I think, like last year, they were excited to return 4 or 5 starters. And I think because of the 5th year, I think they're all back again. I think that's the deal with Colorado State. So they return everybody. Joe, how about you? You like anything in this slot?
Yeah, I'd be leaning on Cal State to cover with those points over Santa Clara. I think this one will be a tighter fought game coming out in this first one. So give me Cal State plus the points.
How about you, Rod?
And for me, I like a 3 in that time slot. I got a birdcage for you. With Alabama, lay the points. And we see all the Sharps up against Alabama in this one. They're all taking La Tech. No chance. Give me Alabama. Yeah, run right over La Tech in this one. Sharps take it up the keister in that one.
The Sharps are not
And
accounting
I like
for that.
the under in Nate. No, They're not.
Tough,
The Sharks
tough
are all
ass
like,
building.
yeah, go.
Tough building.
No. Good. I like under in the Navy and Virginia game. Then they say play so fast, so you're going to be so slow. Give me the under 124.5 and that one. And then lay the points with the Zags. They whooped up on Dixie State last season. Easily got the cover.
Fire up the bandwagon.
No
They
way.
put 112
Dixie
points on
State.
last
Dixie
season.
State.
It ain't gonna change.
Bandwagon.
You're crazy.
All aboard.
What I had, I'll give you 40.
I'm not betting
bet
ahead on the
yeah,
first game of
thing.
the season.
Come on, you get 40 points. You get
Nah.
40 points. I'm giving you.
I don't want to do it to you in the first game.
I'll
confident.
take the hat bet on that one. I'll take the hat.
I'll be
Dixie State's gonna cover.
I'll take the hat. I'll take Dixie State in the points. I'll take the hat. I'll take it.
Okay.
We saw Gonzaga. The last time we saw Gonzaga, they were getting rung up.
Yeah.
I'll take Dixie State in this one. I like them in the points. I also like Bradley in the points. Joe, who do you like in this slot?
He's like, where's Alabama? There's so many games. Information overload.
I'd already said Cal State over Santa Clara.
I like
That's
Bradley.
okay.
I like Bradley to cover against South Dakota State. I like South Dakota State to win. I like Bradley to cover in that one. Everyone knows I like the Jackrabbits, but I don't think they're going to cover in this spot. It's a big ask to cover against Bradley, 9.5.
Did you just give yourself ears?
That's the Jackrabbits. They do this.
Okay. I saw you for like half a second out of the corner of my eye. I was like, did he just do that?
Yeah, this is what they do. Jackrabbits.
Yeah.
I like Oral Roberts, man, in that one against Colorado State. I think they got a chance to win outright. I really do. Money line. I like Grand Canyon minus the 15 against Grambling as well. You have to remember, Grand Canyon, at least they call it what it is there, right? It's a for-profit university. At least they have the guts to say it. Oh, Louisville against Southern. Oh, man, you got to take Louisville in that one, too. Chris Mack's such a jerk. You know he's going to stick it to those guys. And I also like, I don't know. Go to the next slot. Washington, Northern Illinois, BYU, Cleveland State, Iowa against Longwood, Colorado against Montana State. Oof, this looks like an opportunity. This one is going to be a good one. Nevada against Eastern Washington, San Diego State against UC Riverside, Stanford versus Tarleton State, Loyola Marymount taking on the Chattanooga Mocs, Arizona, Northern Arizona, Sean Miller's gone. Just goes to show you, an FBI bugged phone call isn't always enough to get a guy out. Sometimes it takes a bunch of losses on top of it to get it to get him out the door. It was like they had him on the phone, right, with offering money to a recruit. The FBI had his phone bugged, and they had him on the line with the recruit, but it wasn't enough, right? It wasn't enough evidence to get him out the door. But they go 500 and don't make the tournament, you're out of here. It's like, I don't understand it. Oregon State, fresh off of a monster season last year. Monster run in the NCAA tournament, for those of you that forget. Laying 14 against Portland State. San Francisco, the Dons, taking on the LIU Blackbirds. And the nightcap, UCLA Bruins, Johnny Juzang and company, up against CSU Bakersfield. Brian, any of these games? It's a lot of material today, a lot of games.
Yeah, I'll take my square pick of the day is probably UCLA Bruins lay in the wood against Bakersfield here. I think they win this game by 30. And Eastern Washington plus the points against Montana State plus the points against Colorado. Buffalo's had a good year in Pac-12, but I don't think this will be more than a 10-point win here in the opening game. So I'll take Montana State on UCLA minus the points.
Rod?
For me, I'm gonna take Bakersfield plus the points. I think that's too many.
I'm with you.
I think UCLA wins by
Cronin sucks.
by 18.
It sucks.
I think that's too many. I think it's went too far.
Way too far.
Way too far now.
Way
So I'm gonna
too
take
far.
Bakersfield plus the points on that one.
Way too far.
Too far.
Gone too far.
Mhm.
I just think it's a closer game than that because Mick Cronin, what'll happen is like it'll be like a 20-point game and he'll start strategizing. And that's good for at least 5 points for the other team. He's terrible. It's like, let me get my whiteboard out. It's like, let me in-game bet against you. It's like, you see Cronin go for the whiteboard, you in-game against him. Though in the second half of the season, he's had a tremendous run. And even 2 years ago when they stopped the tournament, when they stopped everything right before, I thought that they had a chance that year that they were playing really well at the end of the year too. But at the beginning of the year, they were a hot mess. Probably reading a lot of those newspaper clippings about him too. Any of these other games?
I think Cleveland State has a chance to cover against BYU. I think this is just too many points in BYU's favor in this one. So I'm liking that. That's what I'm really looking at today is those dogs plus the points for the opening.
Steve Alford's another miserable coach. He's at Nevada still, but he's got – it's always funny whenever they talk about Steve Alford in the magazines they always talk about how many more years he's got left on his contract. He has a really good team this year. So you remember he had a really big job before he got this job, right? He was at UCLA before he got this. So the guys that he was recruiting at UCLA are available, in the transfer portal still. So he has a relationship with those guys, and he landed one of them. So there was a 7-footer out of Texas who left. Texas signed it. It was Shaka. And he left Texas, and Nevada got him. And so they're loaded in the middle this year. Nevada's going to be really, really good. If Nevada, in the Mountain West, Nevada, San Diego State both look really good. They both look really good. But I don't know. I'm a little worried about San Diego State because of Matt Bradley transferring there from Cal. We know he can hit shots, but he's got to take 100 of them. So I like San Diego State to win. I just don't think they cover. I like Nevada. I think Steve Alford. I think the less it's kind of do less, win more for Steve Alford. The less coaching he does, the better shape that team's going to be in. He's certainly not going to coach them up. Brian, you like anything in the slot?
Already went through it.
Oh,
I gave out UCLA and Montana State. What was it?
Montana State up against Colorado, the Buffs, playing in the altitude.
Yep.
Rod, did you give your picks? Yeah, Rod took Bakersfield. Joe gave out
Bakersfield plus points. Yeah.
Joe doesn't like BYU. She's
Cleveland State,
fading the big favorites. All right. Well, we covered.
Well, I think BYU will still win it, but I don't think they'll cover that 14.5, 15 points.
I think this is the biggest college basketball slate of the year is today. So I don't think we're going to.
Today, right?
And also, we're going to know a lot more about these teams going forward, too. We're going to know a lot more. So tread lightly, as always, but definitely doesn't mean don't bet them. I mean, because that's what we do. But I'm just saying tread lightly.
I'm not saying I'm not going to bet anything.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. And then I'd be a liar.
I'm still going to bet something.
I have got some action. I've already got some
I already got a hat bet on.
I got Dixie
on
State.
minus 40.
I'm getting 40 and a half. That's the way I see it.
Don't need to be burning the Zags hat on day one.
I don't even know what the Dixie State logo is.
They're
I don't know what that is.
They're the Blazers.
I don't even
Blazers.
know what they are. All right. Got any parlays for us, Rod?
Yep. Give me 1 second here.
College basketball.
We're gonna take
birdcage.
the first. We're gonna take the call back first birdcage. We're taking Alabama, lay the points. Navy under the total, and the Zags minus the 40. And then mixed board for me. We're gonna take the Jazz minus the 8.5. Take the Boston Bruins team total over 3.5, and take the Tampa Bay Lightning on the money line. 2 bird cages today. Parlay all 6 up. What the heck?
Bryant?
Western Michigan minus the huge number against the Akron Zips. Then take the Akron Zips in college basketball plus the points. And my favorite, the Montreal Canadiens on the money line.
Michigan State plus the points. College basketball. Parlay them up with Michigan State, Cal Bakersfield, and Kansas City on the money line against Minnesota. Kangaroos. The Fighting Roos. This is Mitch. Thanks for joining us. Fun. College basketball is tough, and especially at the beginning when we haven't seen any of these teams play. But we'll know a lot more about these teams as it goes on. And no one does college basketball bigger or better than we do year after year. We don't just jump on board March Madness or after football's over and we got nothing else to talk about. Treat all sports equal here. Equal treatment across the board. We'll continue to do it that way. Yeah, Akron lost their top scorer. I'm looking at the comments. Yeah, Akron lost their best player. They're going to get housed. We know that.
Dreaming.
They're going to get housed.
Oh, they are. You're right. They are going to get housed in college football tonight.
All right. See, Brian picking on me again. He's a bully. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Have a great day. I'm going to try and act more professional tomorrow. Let's make it a winning night.